Hello guys, welcome to another video in the series of coding. Today we are going to do the problem which is called minimum difference subsets. So you are given an integer array containing n integers. You need to divide the array into two subsets S1 and S2 such that the absolute difference between their sums is minimum. You have to find and return this minimum possible absolute difference. Let's try to understand this. Let's see the node that is given. Subsets can contain elements from A in any order, not necessarily continuous. Each element of A should belong to any one subset S1 or S2, not both. Okay. It may be possible that one subset remains empty. So we have to find out the minimum possible difference among the sums of two subsets. Let's try to take an example to understand this. Okay. Let's say that we have a simple subset we have a simple set 1 2 3. What is the minimum possible difference? So you have to actually partition this, right, into two subsets. You have to partition it into exactly two subsets, and you should the difference between both the subset sums should be minimum. Okay. For example, in this case it's very easy to spot the answer. You take this will be 3. You take this will be 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 is the best case, right? 0 is the best case. Difference between the sum of two subsets is 0. This is the best possible case. You cannot get a minimum value than this, right? So you have to take the absolute value. So obviously you cannot get a minimum than this. So this will be the answer. Okay. Now you have to try to find out what will be the best possible case. Okay. So let us try to analyze one more example. Let's say 1358. In this case, what will be the answer? In this case, see, the answer is going to be 135 and then 8 in this case, because if you take this subset, 5 plus 3 plus 1 is 9, and then you have 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. This is the minimum possible value. If you take any other subset, for example these two partitions, this is sum of this is 4, sum of this is 13. Absolute value difference between both of them will be 9. So 9 is not the best, right? We just saw 1. If you try to take some other subset, maybe this entire subset also, and an empty subset, then in that case you will get the worst possible answer, right? 8 plus 5 13, 13 plus 3 16, 16 plus 1 17, 17 minus 0, the worst possible answer is 17. 17 is maximum, not minimum. Okay, 17 is maximum. Let us note this. 17 is the maximum that we can get, because you cannot have a sum greater than 17. The elements have a sum maximum of 17. Okay. So what if you try to take some other subset, for example this and this? In this case also you will get 5 plus 3 8, 8 plus 8 16, 1 minus 16, the absolute difference will be 15. 15 is also not the best possible answer. Okay. So the best possible answer was, we already saw, 1 plus 5 plus 3 is 9, and then 8, 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 is the minimum possible answer. It is the best answer in this case. Okay. Now how do you actually solve this problem? So the brute force approach, the worst possible time complexity that you can try to think of for this answer, will be in 2 power n time complexity. Try to calculate all the subsets, right? List down all the subsets. For example, first include, how is it 2 power n? It's very simple. Calculating all the subsets is 2 power n, because let's say you are taking the first element, so then you have two choices, right? Either you include the first element or don't include. If you include the first element, the subset you will get will be 1. If you don't include, it will be empty. And then go to the next element. From here again, either you can include 1 3, or you can not include the element 3, and you can continue. Here again you have two choices: include 3 or don't include 3. So continue. Then again you go to the next element 5, so you have two choices: 1 3 5. Okay, in this case don't include 5, so it will be 1 3, and so on. You keep branching out. Every time you keep branching out 2 times. I'm not drawing the whole tree, it will become very messy, but the time complexity for listing down all the subsets will be 2 power n, because we are making two branches. We are either choosing to include that element or to not include. And then for each of this you will have to sum, maximum it can have n elements. So to calculate the sum, you will have to iterate over the all the elements you have taken. So this will be the worst case brute force time complexity. Now we want to reduce this, right? We don't want to take this. This is the worst case. How do we reduce it to a better time complexity? Can we do better? So there is one interesting solution. When we observe that, see, what is the maximum that you can get? 8 plus 5 13, 13 plus 3 16, 16 plus 1 17. All elements are positive, right? So you take this entire set, you will get 17. You take another empty set, you will get 0. The maximum possible absolute value difference between two subsets will be 17, which is nothing but the sum, the entire sum. What will be the This is the maximum possible. What will be the minimum possible value of a subset? Minimum possible value of a subset is 0. Empty subset is having 0, right? And the largest possible value of a subset is when you take all the elements, it will be 17. Okay, include all the elements. So now once we know this, so we know that subset lies between 0 to 17 in our case. Now let us try to solve this problem by knowing this. So we have already solved one problem, and that problem was finding out if you can make a subset with a given sum. For example, if I tell you you need to make the sum 8 and you are given these elements, can you make it or not? In this case, you can make either. You can take simply this 8, okay, or you can take 3 5 8. Okay, if I tell you can you make 6, so in this case you can make 6, right? You can take the element 1 and 5 and you can make 6. Okay, so we know that the range of subset is 0 to 17 for all the values in this range, right? From 0 to 17. Okay, for all the values in this range, 0 1 2 3 up to 17, what we will do, we will try to find out if we can make that particular value or not. Okay, why is that important? Okay, let's first of all list down the values. Suppose we know that 0 1 2 3 4 up to 17. Okay, can we make 0? Can we have a subset with 0? We can have. Can we have a subset with 1? We can have. This is the subset. Okay, can we have a subset with 2? We can't have. Can we have a subset with 3? Okay, we can have a subset with 3. Can we have a subset with 4? Yes, we can have a subset with 4 because this is the subset. Okay. Can we have a subset with 5? Yes, we can have because this is the subset. Okay, so and so on. Can we have a subset with 6? Of course, 1 plus 5 is 6. Okay, so and so on. You can continue. Now, for all the values that are true in this, right? For all the values that are true in this, you know that suppose a subset is possible with the sum 3. Okay, then you will know what is the subset possible with the remaining value. So if a subset with sum 3 is possible, that means what will be the value of the remaining elements? The remaining elements will be 17 minus 3 because the value of the entire array is 17, right? So if you are taking some elements with value 3, remaining elements have to be value 14 because see, for example, if you are taking this element, if you are taking first set as this element 3, okay, the remaining, this is the subset with the value 3, remaining 14, these three have to sum up to 14. 1 plus 5 plus 8 is 14. Okay, so you know, if you know you can make a subset with sum 3, you know that the remaining value is 14. Then you can calculate the difference between 3 and 14. 14 minus 3, absolute value. We'll take the absolute value. So it will be 11. It will be 11. In this case, so you can find out similarly for all the elements, you can find it out. So this will be one of the values, right? This will be the one of the differences. And similarly, you can find out for all such subsets that are possible. For example, 4 is also possible. So we have one subset with value 4. The other subset will be of value 17 minus 4. What will that be? So 17 minus 4 will be 13. So then absolute value difference between both of them. Okay, I'm taking mod will be 9. So then similarly you can list down all the subsets. Why are we doing this? So what is the time complexity of this? It will simply be O of m into n, because to find this array whether a subset is possible or not, the time complexity is simply O of m into n. Because what did we do? We made a DP table to find this, right? So how do we find out whether a subset is possible or not? So you simply make a DP table and you find it out, right? For example, let me list it down. Just 1 second, let me just delete. I have this. Okay, now let me try to list down how do we actually solve this problem, of m into n time complexity. So what we do, we simply we used to make a table. Now there is no need to make this table. We can shrink it to a 1D array and I will show how to do that. But for simplicity, let's assume we make this table, right? Let's assume we make this table and let's say, so what values will be there in the table? So basically we take the elements 1 3 5 8 on the y-axis. We take the elements 1 3 5 8 on the y-axis. Okay, so this will be your DP table. So let me do one thing, let me draw it out properly. So how did we actually solve this problem? So we used to draw a DP table. We took the elements 1 3 5 8 this side. Okay, and then we took the sum possible. So for example, is 0 possible, is 1 possible, is 2 possible, is 3 possible, and so on up to 17, right? So we drew this DP table. Now the last value in this, okay, that will be this table which you just saw right now. So once we know this table, for example, 0 is possible by using all the 4 elements. Okay, so What does this table indicate? This table simply means, for example, what does each cell in this table mean? In this, for example, this cell means that you take only the values 1 and 3. You are allowed to take only the values 1 and 3. And can you make the sum 2 or not? Okay, in this case, can you make the sum 2 or not by only taking the values 1 and 3? That, whether it is true or false, will be stored in this DP table. So in this case, if you use only 1 and 3, you cannot make 2, right? You cannot make 2 because you are not allowed to use 1 2 times. You can only use 1 1 time. So in this case, this value will be false. Okay, and so on. For example, what will be this value? Using 1, can you make 1? You can make. So this value will be true, and so on, right? So this is how you fill the DP table. So we are only concerned with the last value in this row. So because using all the elements, what are the possible values of the subset sums? Okay, these are the possible values that the sum of the subsets can have, some possible values of the sum of each of the individual subsets. Okay, so in this case we will get a table like this with corresponding true, false, true, and so on, right? This table we will get. Once we get this table, it's very easy. We can build this table in O of m into n time complexity. What do we mean by m and n? So m is nothing but, for example, the number of elements in this array, and n will be nothing but your sum, and so on. Okay, so this table will simply be of size m plus 1 into n plus 1. So I'll round it off to O of m into n time complexity. So this is how you build the table. Once you have the DP table, okay, of this, and this DP table is very famous. It's used in other questions also. For example, to find out whether a possible sum is feasible or not. So if somebody asked you whether you can make the sum 17 or not, so you can look at this value in the DP table and you can see the answer and return it. So this is the DP table which we make. It's very famous. Now in this case, once we have this, we can easily find out the answer. Okay, so for example, once we have whether we can use okay, for example, we know that the answer for 3 is true. That means there's a subset possible with some 3. So the other subset will simply be 17 minus 3, right? So the other subset will be 14. So then you just try to take the absolute difference between this. So 14 minus 3 will be nothing but 11, right? 14 minus 3 will be 11. So in that case, you will try to find out if 11 is the minimum that you have seen till now. If not, then you will find out other values in the DP table. Okay, so you will go on doing this, and in this case, for example, 8 is also possible. In this case, 7 is not possible. So for 8, what you will do, when you come at the value 8, when you are iterating over this array and you come at the value 8, you will notice that it is true. So you will take one subset with the value 8, and the other subset will be 17 minus 8. So it will be 9. So you have subsets 8 and 9. So the absolute value difference between 8 and 9 is 1, and that will give you the minimum possible answer. Okay. Now in this case, there's just one thing. You need not iterate over this entire table. Why? Because let's say, okay, you need not iterate because, for example, up to 8 if you have iterated, that is enough. Because once you start iterating from 9, right, what will happen? You're just repeating. If you take one subset as 9, the other subset is 17 minus 9, which is 8, right? So you are repeatedly taking 9, 8. We already have the value for 8, 9. So why do you want to take 9, 8, right? We already had calculated the subset 8, 9. So 9, 8 is the same subset. So you can just take half of this table. You need not iterate over the entire array itself. If you want to iterate, you can iterate. Anyway, the time complexity for iterating will be O of n. Whether you take half of the array or entire array, it will be O of n. But in this case, it's best to just take half. Why do you want to repeat calculations again? So you can simply take up to this value. You can try to iterate, and in this you will get your answer. Okay. So now let's see the code. So the code is this. So I'm first of all finding out the sum, the total sum. Okay. So in our case, when we took the example of 1 3 5 8, in that case the sum was 17. Okay, so I'm just using the function to find out sum, and this is there in the standard file, so that is why I have included that file. And now I'm calculating the size and I'm adding 1 because my DP table will be initialized with n plus 1 and m plus 1. Okay, so I'm taking the size plus 1 as my n. So my DP table will be initialized this. Just calculating, I'm just taking it a bool value. So if that sum is possible, then we can just fill true in that particular column and row. Okay. So initially all the values are false. Now in the DP table, how do you initialize this DP table? How do you actually fill this DP table? So what we do, see, for example, sum 0 is always possible, right? You need not do anything. You can always make 0. You don't have to take any of the element and you will just get 0, right? So you can fill true in the first column always. In the first row, remaining values will always be false because this means you don't have anything. If you don't have anything, how how on earth would you be able to form any of the numbers, right? So how will you be able to form 3? How will you form 2? How will you form 17? How will you form any of the numbers? You can never form the number, so this value will always be false initially. We need these values so that we can calculate any of the cell values. To calculate this cell values, you need the previous values, right? You need the previous rows. That's why you need to initialize it. So initially I'm giving everything as false, but the first column I'm going to make it as true. Now in this case, I am just iterating over the normal iteration. I will start from 1, j will start from 1. So I am trying to fill from this particular cell and I am going up to the last cell. That's what I am doing. So in this case, this is a common logic. For example, if I am trying to make a sum of, if I am trying to make, so the logic to fill this table is simple. Suppose I am trying to make a sum of 2, okay, and I am trying to see whether I can use element 3 or not to make a sum of 2. So what does this cell corresponds? This cell means whether I can use the first two elements to make 2 or not. Now in this case, when I'm looking at this row and this column, I'm seeing whether 3 is useful to make 2 or not. Now if 3 is greater than 2, can I use 3 to make 2? It is not feasible, right? Because 3 is bigger than 2. So if you use 3 to make 2, means you need to include some negative element before, and there are no negative elements in this array. So in this case, you can simply look up the answer from before. You need not waste your time, right? So because 3 is a larger element than 2, so just look up the answer whether using the remaining elements were you able to make 2 or not. So in this case, the answer here also will be false, so you can just fill false directly. Okay, so that is the logic. So if a of I minus 1 is greater than j, right? So in this case, j is the sum that we are trying to make and a of I minus 1 is the element. So in our case, 3 was the element, 3 is this and this is 2, j is 2. So it's not possible, so just look up the previous row value, okay, that without wasting any time. If it is possible, right? For example, if there is some scope, for example, if you are trying to find out whether, okay, let me take a simple example, whether using 3 can you make 3 or not. So how will you find it? So whether using 3 can we make 3 or not, so we will try to find out if without including 3 could we have made 0 or not. Okay, because 3 minus 3 is 0. So without including 3, if it was possible, so without including 3, if it was possible to make 0, it is possible, right? Because this value is true, this value is true. So without including 3, you can make 0. That means if you include 3, 0 plus 3 will give you 3. So it's possible to make. So if this value is true, then here also you can fill true. Okay, so either this is one possible case, okay, or there is one possible case. For example, in this cell, what will you fill? In this cell, what will be the value? In this cell, the value will be true, because see, it's not because using 3 you can make 1. Using, okay, using 3 you cannot make 1, but using 1 you can make 1, right? So this is true. So in the below cell also you can put true, okay, because in this cell also it will be true, because using 1 we can make 1. So using both the elements also definitely you can make 1. That's why you can fill true. So there will be two cases, right? There will be two cases. One was this simple case, one was this particular case. So either using the previous value you can make it, right? Or for example, you use this particular value. Okay, you look at the before row. So that will be the logic. And then after filling this dp table, we are just taking the last, okay, I'm just taking the last row, and using the last row, if the last row is true, that means that subset sum is possible. And if that subset sum is possible, I have to just calculate the sum of the remaining subset. So let's say that the sum I is possible, right? I is the sum that is possible. I'm taking till half of the sum. I is the sum of subset 1 is I, okay, sum of that is I. So what will be the sum of subset 2? So it will be the total sum, which is sum minus I, that will be the sum. Okay, for example, if this is 8, then this is going to be 9, because 8 plus 9 is 17. So then what will be the difference between both of them? The difference between both of them will simply be sum minus I minus I. Okay, sum minus I will be the difference. 9 minus 8 will be the difference. So this will be sum minus 2 times I. So that is what I have written here. Sum minus 2 times I is the difference between both the subsets, and the minimum of that will be the answer. So that is what I am returning. Okay, so let me test this. So let's change this code to a 1D array. So I'm going to comment this part out, which is having the 2D array. So instead of this, I will rather use a 1D array. So I'll just keep the name same. It will be dp, and I will initialize it same. I will not use the row because whatever I am finding the value currently, that depends on the previous value. So I am using this itself as the previous value. DP array itself acts as the previous value. So I will not initialize this. Let me comment it out. Here I will have to make 0. TP of 0 as true. So instead of giving the statement here, I am just giving it here. And now in this code, there'll be just one minor change. So if we are taking from the beginning, we may run into a problem because, for example, if we change the value for j equal to 1, we may use the same value at j equal to 5. So instead of running from the beginning, we can run from the backside. So that will solve the problem. So here I am going to start with j equal to sum and j greater than equal to 1 and j minus minus. That's it. So I will run it from the behind because when I run it from the behind, whenever I'm using the previous values, I would not have computed it in this iteration. So that is the only change you will have to make if you are using a 1D array. And let's use a 1D array. Remaining code remains same. In this case, you need not even have this code, right? You can just take off this code because whatever is the previous value will anyway remain in the current system. So you can just instead of giving this, you can just give this simple statement. So now we were giving if a of I minus 1 is greater than j, then do this. This case is not needed, so I will just give this case and remove this. So this is the case that is important. So instead of dp of ij, I will give dp of j. Here again dp of j or with dp of j minus a minus 1. Okay, so this is the condition that I'm giving. Else in this case you can break. So if you are not you're reaching this threshold, after this anyway you cannot use that element because the value of that element is going to become greater. So unless the element is smaller than equal to j, then in that case you can keep using it, otherwise you can break. And here I will have to just change slightly one condition. I will just give dp of I, that's it. If dp of I is equal to true, then in this case you are going to try to calculate the min value, which is this particular value. So that is it. Now let me try to run and see if the code is going to work fine. So it's fine, that's it. It's working, and thank you for being patient and listening.